So in this video, I'm going to talk about what we know about the upcoming KC Cup and what it means for the World Championship for 2018. So for 2018, it looks like there is one main way to qualify for the World Championship, and that is through the Region Representative Qualifier. Now, what is the Region Representative Qualifier? The Region Representative Qualifier, I believe, is exactly what we had as the World Championship Qualifier, which is how I was able to go to Japan. Now, to be qualified for the 2017 World Champion Qualifier, all you had to do was hit King of Games. But Konami's changing it up. They now want you to qualify for the qualifier. And one of the main ways they are doing it is through the KC Cup, which they are holding 3 of. So here you go right here, the schedule leading up to the World Championship 2018. In November, we'll have the first KC Cup, then February we'll have the second, April we'll have the third, and then May will be the last chance qualifiers, and then the regional representative qualifier, which is the only way to qualify to go to Worlds. Now, the WCS qualifier event happening at the same time as the region representative qualifier is kind of suspicious to me. To me, it seems like that might be a safety net in case a bunch of the top 500 KC Cup players are possibly not playing the game anymore by the time the region representative qualifier is happening. I have no idea what they could do to give people a last chance to qualify where everyone else had to reach top 500 in a 3-day event during the KC Cup. So that's going to be very interesting. And then it looks like they have an even extra safety net of possible KC Cup participants not making it to the World Champion Qualifier through unannounced other events. Now, why am I talking like this? Why do I sound like I'm being negative? I don't mean to sound negative about it. It's just that KC Cup being required to go into the region representative qualifier, I feel like it's fluff. I don't feel like it's a real reward. I feel like they're adding fake value to the KC Cup because they don't know what else to add to the KC Cup besides giving you guys like a in-game icon and some gold and prismatics. So the KC Cup is officially starting November 16th through November 19th. It's going to be a 3-day event. It seems like it'll be exactly like the World Champion Qualifier we had. Now, the top 500 duelists from the KC Cup will get you qualified to the main regional representative WCS 2018 qualifiers. In a way, I'm kind of disappointed by this. Like I was saying, I feel like it's fluff. I feel like it's fake value. I feel like they're adding a ton of safety nets in case these potential qualified players within 500 people may not even be playing the game by then. I don't think it's gonna even have an impact. I don't feel like there'll be a single person that gets like 500 in first place that has a real chance at doing well in the regional representative qualifier that's gonna go, oh damn, I did not qualify for the event. But you know what? In the end, this is just speculation. I would be able to say more if it was only the KC Cups, but you know, they have unannounced events and then a last chance qualifier, which will probably happen a couple days or a week before the regional representative qualifier that's happening, which again, I'm thinking is only there in case the participation for the regional representative qualifier itself is really low. What did I want from the KC Cup then? Why am I disappointed? I'm disappointed because I feel like this was a real opportunity to give extra ways to qualify for the World Championship itself. If you don't know, in the TCG, which is the real life card game, players can qualify for Worlds just from going to regionals and YCS events, which are very big tournaments that happen like every month. And if you do very well at those events, you accumulate points. And when you get enough points, you get to go straight to Worlds. So what I was hoping is, you know, if you get top 10 in 2 KC Cups, maybe that's enough to go to Worlds, maybe top 5, maybe get first place, then a top 10. I don't know, some kind of points system where maybe you participate in the first, second, and third KC Cup, and you also go into the YCS qualifying event, and maybe you don't get top 2 in the WCS qualifying event, which may be the only way to go to Worlds, that you could still go to Worlds because you did well in every other KC Cup, including the qualifier itself, besides getting the absolute top spot to get that invite. It would make the whole year round much more competitive and not focused on a single event. This one event that's happening right before Worlds, all of the value is happening on that one event. These KC Cups are fluff. Top 500, that's a joke. It's not just top 500, it's top 500 per group. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groups during the last World Champion qualifiers. That's 8 times 500. That's 4,000 players. I'm hesitant to even think that some of these groups, do they even have 500 King of Game active players? I like the idea of condensing good players for the final qualifier to get into Worlds, but it feels like they're completely devaluing it just from the start. And on top of that, it just makes it clear that there's no real incentive to do better than top 500. So getting first place, getting top 10, getting top 100. It's the same as top 500. The only difference is you'll probably get an in-game icon and a little bit more gold and prismatics of cards that everyone has access to anyway. Not that I'm implying that they should give exclusive cards, but yeah, I feel like they missed a real opportunity here to give extra ways to qualify for Worlds and make every KC Cup leading up to Worlds mean a lot. Now, maybe you're a casual player and you love this news. Great, top 500. I don't have to play all weekend. I don't have to grind my ass off. I could casually play through the weekend and easily get top 500 and then make it to the World Champion qualifiers. Well, with that kind of attitude, you're likely not going to do well during the World Championship qualifiers anyway, because you're going to have to grind your ass off there anyway. And that gets to my next point about KC Cups and future events. Should it be okay that you have to grind your ass off or think you got to take off work or, say goodbye to your loved ones for 3 days? During the World Champ qualifier, I played 16 hours straight on the first day. Didn't take a single break to the bathroom while eating. I constantly queuing up for the next duel. No breaks. That's not healthy. That's not good. I don't like that. In the whole weekend, I probably played close to 300 games. And many other people in the top spots, they played around 600 games. I was burnt out after 300. I barely played on the last day because I pretty much secured my invite to Worlds after 2 days of playing. But again, this KC Cup, if you want to just qualify for the regional qualifier, there you go. That's the good news for you. You just need top 500 and you can worry about having that grind later in the year. Now, what should they do to fix that? I think they should do limited duels. Maybe 100 duels throughout the whole weekend. Maybe only allow 30 duels a day, even 50 duels a day. I think even telling players that they have to play 150 duels within a weekend, that's a lot of playing. Also, there's a big issue with transparency for the top players. And when I say top players, this only affects a very small percent. I don't see anyone else really talking about this. During the first KC Cup, the better you did, the better your opponents were. If you were in the top 10, you were likely to play against another top 10 player from the ladder. That meant during the first KC Cup, I had to adjust my deck for the meta. As I stomped players to reach top 10 in the first KC Cup, very quickly, all my opponents became much better. They had much more optimized decks. I had to start side decking cards against Relinquished. Every single opponent I played that was not playing Relinquished, they were guaranteed to have 3 mirror walls. Apparently, Konami was afraid of collusion, which is a definite concern that they should have. And I was hoping they could find a better solution, but their solution to avoid collusion was to not pair you against good players when you do well. The solution was to pair you against completely random players. During the qualifiers, while I was first place, a random person, not even trying to participate in the qualifier, just trying to get their 5 duels of the day to get their gems, they would queue up against me. That's ridiculous. Someone not even trying to be competitive in the event after I've already been playing 20 plus hours into the event, randomly queues up against me. How does that make sense? So again, my point about transparency is, Konami, why don't you, tell us these things? Why don't you say, hey, we did make that change because of collusion. We did go from 5-day event to 3-day event because we didn't want players to die while playing our game. And shouldn't I know going into this KC Cup what you're going to do? Are we going to have an ELO system where we play against top players? Did you figure out a way to prevent collusion? with all said and done, I am highly looking forward to the KC Cup. It's a competitive event nonetheless. You know, Duel Links is still new. There's a lot Konami has to learn. And, you know, the best thing we could do is try to give them constructive feedback in the best way possible, even though there is a very strong language barrier. And a big thing about this KC Cup is a brand new big box is coming right before the KC Cup comes out. 1 week before the KC Cup. It's pretty much, the ball is in Konami's court. If they make this box amazing, meta-defining, you know, the worst case scenario on people's wallets, I would think, is they possibly make a card like King of the Swamp from the previous big box, a mandatory play 3 of, and then you need 3 ultra rares from this new box. Now, a competitive player is wondering, holy crap, all I need to do is get top 500, but if I drop $600, I'll have the most optimal deck. You know, that's a big factor too. It's crazy. I really hope that, you know, it's bad enough that how many games you play is going to be a major factor in you doing well, but please don't add the extra factor of having to drop 500 to potentially up to like $1,000. I believe I'm not exaggerating. To guarantee get like 3 of every ultra rare from a box, that could cost up to like $500. So that's also a really important factor going into this KC Cup with so little on the line. Are people going to be willing to drop their money and drop their time and potentially their health to just go all out for 3 days when all they need to do is get top 500? It's going to be interesting. I'm excited. So in my Discord, my priority is to help every member I can to get top 500 in their region. Besides the big changes I'll be making to the Discord right before the KC Cup, I will be hosting a subscriber pre-KC Cup tournament the week right before the KC Cup. What does that mean? That means the ban list will be live. That means the brand new box will be live. So that means the players in my tournament, they only have 5 days after the box comes out to test out the new cards and do well in my tournament, which there will be an entry fee for. Thank you to Justin Taylor. He already sponsored the tournament with $100. This is not an MCS tournament. That's all. Thanks for watching this video. I believe I covered all my thoughts about the KC Cup. If you have any other questions about the KC Cup, feel free to leave a comment. I will try to read all the comments and respond to any questions about this. So thank you.